The 1920s was a time of great American prosperity. New technologies and advances were being made almost every day.
Quite a few of these technologies gave way to the modern technology today we take for granted. So sit back in your almost comfortable desk and enjoy the ride.
The home invention that we're going to talk about today is the telephone. Made in the 1920s, it had a great impact on life. The telephone had such a great impact on American life because through the help of the American Telegraph and Telephone Company, which is now known as AT&T, and they had a great monopoly over all the other telephone companies, so they could regulate all the different prices. And so they did make a reasonable price for the telephone to be at home as a landline. And there's pictures like this of the telephone. It was a good machine. AT&T made long distance phone calls across coast to coast, and so everyone could stay in contact with their loved ones if they move away for a better opportunity, and that really boosted the appeal of the telephone, and that's our first technology.
I'm sure one of you knows someone with diabetes. Hey, guess what? You wouldn't know them if it wasn't for the 1920s. All diabetic people need insulin because their pancreas doesn't make it properly, or it doesn't make enough. But how do we know we need insulin and not some other chemical? Let's give it up for Dr. Frederick Banting. Banting's first experiment to find a cure for diabetes involved taking the pancreas out of dogs and monitoring their blood sugar and other vital signs. When the pancreas was taken out of the dog, this dog developed diabetes. By injecting the dog with blended pancreas flesh, the dog healed again and got healthy. Sounds gross, huh? But it worked. The dog was healthy again. And soon he started testing on cattle and then eventually humans. In January 1922, Banting gave the first injection to a diabetic boy. Banting received the Nobel Prize in 1923 for medicine.
The electric light bulb, created by Thomas Edison in 1879, was the first to be made. But it was unsafe to use around the public because it was filled with gaseous fumes that illuminates to create a sphere of light called the light bulb. But if broken, the gaseous fumes that illuminate to create the bright light filled the atmosphere, and it would burn your skin, and if swallowed or inhaled, it would eat away at your insides. So it was very unsafe to use around families and at the workplace. Now that the light bulb was made safe, it was able to be around families and people in the workplace, and you were able to be safe. So you could stay out longer and spend time with your loved ones, or you could go and make more money to feed your hungry family, or you could just go walk anywhere safely with light. It was a great impact on the people of the 1920s, and it will stay with us for years to come.
Oh no, you have polio. But have no fear, the 1920s are here. Another great advancement in technology and medicine in the 1920s was the invention of the iron lung. Philip Drinker, a professor at the School of Public Health at Harvard University, was credited with the invention of the modern-day iron lung. The iron lung was created to help people with a respiratory disease or anything that made it hard for them to breathe. The iron lung is basically a airtight metal box with some hoses and some pumps and other gauge things that helps them breathe. The invention was first tested on cats, and then eventually there were big enough ones to use for humans. The iron lungs were used, believe it or not, up until the late 1970s. This invention also sparked the idea for a negative air pressure room that are used in hospitals today.
Another fantastic invention of the 1920s was the refrigerator. Before the refrigerator, you had to lug your butt all the way down to the ice shack and get a huge ice block and lug it all the way back to your house and then put it in an ice chest along with your food. With the refrigerator, there's no chance that the food could go through a transition state between temperatures where the bad bacteria can grow on your food and poison you, and also it stays fresh for like twice the time longer. So the impact of the refrigerator on the average everyday American was fantastic, and it still sticks around today, which shows the great use of it.
Modern medicine wouldn't be the same without this 1920s invention, penicillin. Known as the greatest advance in therapeutic medicine, it has saved countless lives from bacterial infections. Alexander Fleming founded penicillin when he left out some samples in petri dishes for too long. The penicillin itself was a mold that grew inside of these petri dishes. The refined samples created a sort of wonder juice that cured many infections like Streptococcus, meningococcus, and diphtheria bacilla. Penicillin is still used today and also led the way for many antibiotics we are prescribed in modern times.
Two technologies that really correlate with the impact the refrigerator had was the vacuum and the creation of the dishwasher. Before the creation of these two, a lovely housewife had to clean all the dishes and pick by hand all of the debris in the carpet. Now, with the dishwasher can get to much drastic temperatures than you can while washing the dishes. So that high temperature is able to burn all the germs off the plate. And then with the vacuum, every piece of dust gets sucked up off the ground and your house has a really more radiant look. And that is the last of our technologies of the 1920s.
All of these 1920s inventions helped everything we know and is so good for humankind. If we didn't have some of these technologies, we wouldn't know how the world is today. It would have been so much different. And I thank the 1920s personally for all of these great advancements.
Checking what eyes kept me sweating, oh why I can't be living